as European campaigns go, this has to be one of the least glorious in Arsenal's distinguished history. They lost their manager one game from the end of the group after losing at home, and on Thursday night in Liege a young, inexperienced Gunners side at one point looked on the way to actually achieving being knocked out of the Europa League, as they went 2 goals down. But then, thanks to 18-year-old Bukayo Saka, who almost alone carried the standard, they claimed 2 goals in 3 minutes, saw Vitoria Guimaraes score twice in the last 5 minutes at Eintracht Frankfurt, and ended up amazingly, winning Group F. It means they now avoid some of the big guns, like Inter Milan, Ajax and Benfica in that last 32. And to be fair to Freddie Ljungberg's young players, they showed courage and commitment on a tough night. But a more unlikely outcome it would have been difficult to imagine after 70 minutes, when they had been battered and bullied by an average standard side, and looked like they might even lose by the 5 goals which would have sent them out. But then enter Saka. The Ealing-born teenager, a product of the Gunners Academy starting only his 10th game for the club, made a goal out of nowhere for Alexandre Lacazette, and then netted the equaliser. He had been a menace down the left all game for the Gunners, and he thoroughly deserved his reward. Just in, Arsenal legend Martin Keown slams Freddie Ljungberg team selection decision, but that defence. If Carlo Ancelotti was watching this display, he will have been rapidly changing his mind about sending in his CV. On a horrible, bobbly pitch on a freezing night in front of a hostile crowd, this young Arsenal team's resolve was going to be severely tested. They just about came through. It was a predictably nervous start, as Konstantinos Mavropanos, playing his first senior game of this season, his only other outings had been 2 under-21 games, gave the ball straight to Mehdi Carcella, but Arsenal escaped as the standard forward struck his shot straight at Emiliano Martinez. Ljungberg had denied he was taking a risk with such a young, inexperienced team, and clearly the interim head coach had Sunday's key Premier League clash at Manchester City in mind, but there were some hairy moments. Twice Martinez narrowly got away with poor pieces of control. But when they did break, the Gunners looked dangerous, and when Saka got down the left, once again Bodart had to save with his legs, then he curled his shot just over. Don't miss, Arsenal next manager, Carlo Ancelotti met Gunners chiefs during London trip in November. Liverpool to sign Takumi Minamino in January transfer window after beating Man United to deal Chelsea and Fikayo Tomori bumper new contract just months after club wanted to sell. Then the youngster's fierce shot could only be parried by Bodart. The ball came out to Rice Nelson, but his header was weak. But a minute after half-time the thin Gunners line finally broke. Samuel Bastian advanced and shot from 20 yards, and the ball took a wicked deflection off Socrates, who criminally turned his back, to leave Martinez helpless and creep over the line. Standard, who needed to win to go through, pressed, and when Joe Willock failed to clear, Salim Amala pounced, and his shot took a deflection off Mavropanos to bobble in. The Belgians were beginning to believe that miracle might well be on the cards, but then out of nowhere, Saka crossed and Lacazette pounced to nod in. Then the youngster cut in, exchanged passes with Gabriel Martinelli, and curled a lovely low shot into the corner. From barely being in the game, suddenly Ljungberg's team were level. Hang on to your hats, folks. With Arsenal, this is going to be lively. Post-match, Ljungberg hailed teenager Saka and the rest of his young team for their attitude in Belgium. Ljungberg said, "Bukayo was amazing. He was a bit upset with me before the game because he had to play wing-back, which he does not like too much. But he is a tremendous talent and you could see that. His final ball is always effective and there's always an end product to his work. I feel sorry for our young players sometimes because they do not have the chance to go out on loan and have exposure to 90 minutes of men's football. That is why I wanted to get them on the pitch last night to get experience. Some of them made mistakes, but they will learn from that. The Gunners' interim head coach, whose team also came from behind to win at West Ham on Monday night and on Sunday travelled to Manchester City, added, "Their character was tremendous. I'm really proud of them. It was a tough place to come and be 2-0 down, but they showed belief in how they can play and their quality. The reaction was great. That heart, fight and belief was amazing to see. At 2-0 down we could have folded, but we didn't, we kept going and got back in the game." He admitted, "It's great to be top of the group. It was a gamble with these young players, but I believe in these young players. I try to do the job as good as well as I can. I go from day to day and game to game. Let's block ads. Why?